Once I found out that I had cancer, which was shocking to me, I wanted it out of me right away. I was just like, get it out right now. I'm going to do it because I'm going to say to myself, like, you're alive and you're strong and you can do this.
Mm,
You have to do it because if you don't do it, you're going to die.
That's a fighter. For those of you watching, she is actually a fighter because, like, the mental, it was just like, yeah, we're getting over this. No problem. Nope.
I woke up one morning and I literally heard a voice in my head. Like I actually heard a voice saying, you're going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine.
Well, right when I went under, like, if I still remember, like, right when I went to sleep, the song was perfectly playing in my head. Every little thing is gonna be all right.
Remember, you have to keep moving or you're not going to make it. So, in a weird way, cancer gave me more life in the end.
Mm.
Where's your phone?
We're just in the script.
Well, no, where is your script?
I feel like my mic is just getting destroyed right now. So my shirt like that.
So this can be like kind of like the casual one that I'm sitting here, so I look more professional.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to, I don't know what episode TUEBOR
When you
is.
post it, it'll be January.
There's too many episodes in the bank.
Okay.
Security deposits,
Okay.
and draws and deposits, and just stuff.
Okay.
The Lions are very, very close to winning the Super Bowl. It's gonna be a good race. It's gonna be a fun time. But for the second time, joining the number one show in the world, TUEBOR, Karen Swisher McKee, and today she's gonna talk about her cancer, but she beat cancer. How she's able to do the family events, do this all. So it's a blessing. It's a miracle, and I admire you and you inspire me. But what cancer was it?
It was a slow growing but spreading cancer of the uterus and the ovaries, and the masses were extremely large and they were growing into the small intestines. I didn't actually have cancer of the small intestines, but it did involve the small intestines.
Does it feel good to have it out of your body now?
Absolutely.
Does it feel different with no cancer?
It's interesting. I didn't really have any significant symptoms initially of cancer. The symptoms just felt like I was getting older. I was having hip pain where the mass on my ovary was pressing on, and I was also having a little bit of stomach issues, like and acid reflux from the mass pressing on my stomach. But to me, they didn't really seem like that bad of symptoms. But once I found out that I had cancer, which was shocking to me, I wanted it out of me right away. I was just like, get it out right now.
Yeah.
Now, having been through the whole experience, I definitely feel healthier. Like, whereas I didn't realize I was sick because it came upon me very slowly. So I didn't really realize it. But now that I don't have it, I definitely feel, I don't know what the word would be, like cleaner or something like that.
I got a question.
Yeah.
When you talk to your doctor or like your surgeon, the person who's overseeing the care, afterwards, within 2 months, do they recommend doing a polar plunge and 0-degree water and icy water in 2 months?
The cancer was exacerbated by the fact that I had a pulmonary embolism, which is a blood clot in the lungs, and I'm on blood thinners. The last time I saw my oncologist, which was like a week or two ago, I asked him what I could and could not do. And he said, well, whatever you do, don't fall and hit your head. Because if you fall and hit your head, you might die from a subdural hematoma. So I had to be very, very
That's
careful.
why my mom was, that's good.
I had to be very careful when I was doing that.
What's that hematoma?
Oh, it sounds
Sounds
like
like sounds
like
like
with the blood.
Hiroshima.
So what happens is like, so subdural means like under your scalp. And when you're on blood thinners, you bleed very easily. So when you have a bleed that's in your brain, there's no place for it to go. It just builds up pressure and you can die.
Mm. So did they get the name inspired by Hiroshima because of
Oh,
the war that because people died in Hiroshima?
we'll have to look that up.
Hiroshima.
We'll have to Google that.
Well,
So the polar plunge was a challenge for
Yeah.
me because
For anyone, I think it's on both of our Instagrams. I'm pretty sure. So check it out.
so I definitely wanted to do something to like say like, yes, I'm alive. Like I can do this. I'm getting stronger. And my initial idea was that I was going to skydive, which I still might do if I ever get off blood thinners. But I don't think it's a very good idea to do while I'm in blood thinners.
Because then you could hit your head.
Right, exactly. So as I was sitting here, I was like, I've got to do something like interesting. So I'm like, we're going to do the polar plunge.
Yeah.
And then when we were out there, I was thinking to myself, I was kind of like, it's icy. There's like a little like decline. My balance is not that great. My strength isn't that great, but I'm like, no, I'm going to do it because I'm going to say to myself, like, you're alive and you're strong and you can do this.
Mhm.
And with a little assistance, I did do the polar.
Well, and so for those of you who don't, we got scores. Every single one of us got scores out of 10. And Karen got the highest score. She got 11 out of 10 for her polar plunge.
I think that was more like participation.
I got a 0 out of 10.
Yeah, you
Derek
get a 0.
Eric got a 3 out of 10. Kyle got a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
So how did the battle and the adversity that you faced through cancer pivot you and make you more determined than ever that you can accomplish any goal, any else?
So it's interesting because like you always think like what would I do if I find out I have cancer? Like it's a scare that you might think of on occasion. Like you don't know how other people get through it. And first I was like in a lot of shock because I've just always been like so healthy that I was gonna live till like I was in my 90s without like really having any problems, maybe high blood pressure or something, but I was not expecting cancer. Then you go through kind of like fear, like, well, what's going to happen? Like, am I going to die? You know, what's the diagnosis? What's the prognosis? And you have to wait until after your surgery to find out that information. So you have to see all these different doctors and have tests done. And it's kind of overwhelming, especially for me, because I never really saw doctors. I just kind of had my yearly appointment and I never had any problems. So, I just thought I was fine. And then, I had that fear of having the surgery. It's kind of funny because I like watched this other guy on TikTok and he had been, somebody asked him during his TikTok live, like, I'm going to have surgery. What do you have to say to me? And he didn't really know what he was talking about, but he did say, you just got to do it. You're going to be knocked out. You're not going to know what's going on. You have to do it because if you don't do it, you're going to die. But just say, knock me out, take it all out of me. And I just said that to myself internally before the surgery. Just knock me out, doctor. Just knock me out. Let's get this out of me. I won't know what's going on. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to get out of this. I just kept saying that like over and over to myself in my head. And then the surgery was so much worse than I thought it was going to be. You had an incision from here all the way down. They had to really open me up because I had a mass. One mass was 16 centimeters and the other one was 7 centimeters.
How do you get that out?
Well, you have to make an incision and go through all the layers.
Like get tweezers and pick it out?
I mean, I think they had some pretty heavy duty saws or something.
Saws. So they chop it up and then scoop it out?
I had to have a total hysterectomy. So they removed my uterus and my ovaries in addition to the masses. They also removed portions of the small intestine.
I have one question I guarantee you've never been asked.
Yes.
They took out the masses, the cancer, and they took it out. Okay. For the family of that. Now, imagine they take it out, right? The big thingy. And then you put it in the fridge.
Right. To talk to
my
sister.
I want her to ask anyone else to ask if they have good questions for you. But
Okay.
before that, I have one more question.
Okay.
They take out the masses.
Right.
16 centimeters, 12 centimeters, whatever it is. They put it on a grill, cook it up, put it back in some soup. Is it edible? Or will it grow back as cancer?
No. You're on podcast.
Yeah, but I want you to.
No. Okay. So the problem was for me and why it was
Awful question.
A stage 3 was that the cancer had spread to the pelvic cavity, whereas it wasn't like it contained the masses. It had not spread so far to get into my lymph nodes, but it was in the pelvic cavity. So that means like, well, you can't remove those cancer cells. It's not like a mass that you can remove. They're just tiny little cells that are just
So they just got to kill the cell.
right. Exactly.
So there was nothing like physical that you
Right. Exactly. So that's why I had to have chemotherapy and radiation.
they can take out.
Well,
How many chemos? How many radiation?
Okay. So I had 3 chemo sessions. I was on 3 different drugs for chemotherapy. Then I had 7 weeks of radiation. And then I had 3 more chemotherapy sessions using 3 different drugs. And that's
27 total or more.
I had 27 radiations. Yeah.
And
that was over 7.
How many total chemo?
6.
Hey, I mean, that's a fighter. For those of you watching, she is actually a fighter because, like, the mental, it was just like, yeah, we're getting over this. Nope.
I think that's what,
Bring it to
I think that so many people they have a different kind of experience with cancer.
Yeah.
And for some weird reason, I don't know why, I was absolutely sure that it might be because of my belief in God and my son who has passed away. I feel like he was giving me signs, telling me that I was going to be okay. I remember I woke up one morning and I heard a voice in my head, "You're going to be okay. It's going to be fine." And it was like sang to me this little tune, "Every little it's going to be all right."
Wait, right before the surgery?
When I was still in that worrying phase, when I was like waiting to get my diagnosis, I heard a little voice say, "Everything, little thing's going to be okay." When I woke up, right when I woke up.
Right. So right when loose side note, I had a little splinter. I had surgery for this. It was a giant splinter, really, really bad, but they had to put me under. Well, right when I went under, like, I still remember, like, right when I went to sleep, the song was perfectly playing in my head. Every little day is gonna be all right. And it said it 3 times.
Oh my God.
It might have been, I don't know if it was the doctors like playing the music. I don't know what but I remember hearing that 3 different times. I never remember it vividly.
So crazy.
We're not just, this isn't a, this,
No, we've never even talked about this before.
yeah.
Never
Yeah.
talked about it.
It was for the thing but it wasn't even, it wasn't like that. It was like fast. Like, every little thing is gonna be all right. It was like, so it wasn't like out of a speaker. It was like,
That's
it was
crazy.
crazy. It was pretty cool. But do you have a question for Aunt Karen, or do you want to add anything to the podcast? I'm all set. You
Okay.
should.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye.
We'll see. And safe travels back home. Okay, let's take.
Okay, so anyways, getting back to what we were saying, I was mentally like very positive and strong, but physically it was hard. So I had a lot of side effects. I ended up destroying my thyroid.
What's
I had
thyroid? Because I'm
thyroid. Yeah, it like regulates your emotions. It has to do with your metabolism, body thermometer. Like, I don't know. That's basically it. Your metabolism and your emotions, regulating your emotions.
If someone right now just got diagnosed with cancer, they got cancer, and obviously you're one of the miracle cases where you push through that whenever, what do you tell that person who just got diagnosed that they got cancer?
Well, this is my belief, and you can believe it or not, but my thought that I had from the very beginning was I was not going to allow myself to have one single negative thought. I was just like, I would only let myself believe that I was going to get through this. And I would say that to myself over and over again. And I told people around me that I didn't want any negativity, like no problems, no drama, like don't even talk about anything stressful to me, like only positivity. And I was very lucky that my family and friends and people around me were the same. Like they only ever said to me, this is going to be over. A year from now, you're going to be doing this. Not one person ever said to me, "Oh, what are you gonna do? It's like you don't get through this." No, every single person was super positive also.
So
But
this is also like encouraging other, not just the people with cancer. It's going to be okay. Everyone else, if you're dealing with or one of your family members, you don't tell them. There's no point. You just tell them they're gonna be okay
yes.
because it's doable, it's stoppable. And do you think most of it has to do with like the body and luck, or does it literally have to do with like just mental persistence?
Well,
Roman 2.
I think that because I'm very spiritual, I truly believe in God, and I also believe in angels and spirit guides. I do believe that loved ones in the afterlife are looking after me, and I felt their presence. I did feel like they were telling me, "You're going to be okay." I could have chosen not to believe that. I could have been like, "Oh, that's just some crazy thing. Like you're just imagining this because you want that to be true." But for some reason, I didn't. I was just like, "No, they're telling me I'm going to be okay, and I'm going to be okay. I just have to get through this. I have to do these chemo sessions, but I'm going to be okay when this is over."
I'm literally getting the chills right now because I'm thinking, because that's a extremely vivid memory of is gonna be all right. And then you had seen,
Yes.
I forgot it.
Oh,
But I remember telling my mom right after the show,
oh, wow.
like maybe I was delusional or whatever. But so yours was after surgery, and
Yes. So the surgery was like really physically difficult to get over. I didn't know anything that was going on, but like I remember coming out of it was like not painful exactly, but I couldn't really move because like yeah, I had such a big incision and it went through all my muscles in my abdomen. So I no longer have the ability, I didn't have muscles to like move around. And I remember the nurse telling me I had to get up, like I had to get up and stand up. And I'm like, I just really can't." And she's like, "You have to." I'm like, I'm, I'm telling you, like, I just can't do this. And she was like, "You have to get up. You have to stand up or you're not going to make it." I'm like, "Oh, okay. I mean, I really will try." She's like, "All I want you to do is stand up. That's it." I mean, this one nurse, the same nurse that told me I had to get up, when I was leaving the hospital, I was in my wheelchair and I was being taken out to the car. She came out and she gave me a hug and she's like, "Just remember, you have to keep moving or you're not going to make it." And that was like a message from God. The message was coming from higher powers, if you will, saying, "You got to just keep moving. You got to keep moving." So that was another thing that got me through this. I just kept knowing that I had to get out there and walk and keep my strength up. There were plenty of days where I didn't even feel like I wanted to get out of bed, but I felt like I had that message from God. You got to keep moving. You got to keep trying. I did work during the entire time. I
That's
did
great.
definitely decrease my patient load,
Yeah.
but
So
I didn't take a day off.
you're a doctor yourself, and
Yeah.
you were still working while it's like even in the hardest times. Like,
Well,
was that part of your recovery?
and that's an interesting thing. I find the paperwork portion of it, I do not find gratifying whatsoever, but actually being with my patients and helping them helps me. And that's another thing that could be helpful for other people. Like when I help other people, it makes me feel better. And so seeing patients was actually helpful for me. It was very, very hard some days. I remember one day I just literally had to walk 20 feet and I had to take 3 breaks. I had this little stool with me and I'd walk 5 feet and then I have to sit down on my little stool and then I would walk 5 feet and then I would sit on my little stool. Another day that I was just like sweating profusely, literally from doing nothing. So it was really hard to do that, but it also made me feel like I had a purpose in life. The days that I was resting in bed were definitely easier and more pleasant. And I probably needed the rest too. I needed the rest,
Yeah.
but it would make me sit there and think about like, "Oh, I don't feel very well. And why is this happening to me?" And, things like that. Whereas like when I was working and I was doing something and I was helping other people and I had a purpose, then I wasn't really thinking about, I would be thinking about how I was feeling when I'd be like so tired. I would need to take a break, but I wasn't, I would be feeling like I was doing something, like I was moving forward.
Do you have a different view on life, or do you think about life differently now that you just beaten cancer and you went through that whole time and now you beat it and now it's like, do you have
Oh,
you,
absolutely, for sure. It's interesting because I've been through grief from losing Jonathan. And last year, I finally had transitioned to a point where I didn't really feel like I was actively grieving. I felt like I was just a normal person, basically sad when I thought about not having my son, but at the same time, I was pretty much fine at that point. I was going to have this amazing year last year, and I was going to cross all these things off my bucket list. And then I found out I had cancer. So at first, I was like really mad about that because I was like, "Excuse me, God, I just got over grief, and now you're giving me cancer." But as a matter of fact, it's given me even more of a desire to live and have adventures and make more friends, do interesting things, whatever. Even last year. And as a matter of fact, I have more appreciation for my life than I did before. So, in a weird way, cancer gave me more life in the end.
mm,
Now I feel like, okay, now I'm over cancer. And that's why we did the plunge starting this year off. Like, okay, I didn't get to
right?
do all these things last year, but
11.
now we're starting this year off with like, it's just going to be great. I'm going to do a lot of stuff.
This has been an incredible weekend. We did a
Yeah.
whole family shout out our whole family coming through. Everyone coming through. We had an incredible time. Every single person was able to make it, I believe,
Yes.
and we had a ton of fun. There was something for everyone. And yesterday, well, on my Instagram, Derek cut up his leg. Cameron was throwing the ice. Did you go?
Jenna didn't go listen. Jenna.
Okay. Well, I think not for everyone, but if anyone were not going, you would have had the biggest excuse. You know,
Well, I was the ringleader.
yeah,
Yeah. And I was trying to make everyone do it. So I felt like, I really do need to.
I probably would not have done it, but I can't let you go ahead and do it. And then me, and I was also egging everyone on the night before. You do it.
I know.
Not, so,
So, I had to be a little bit wise about the whole thing. I mean, I just saw Derek cut his leg up
so
and
that, no,
I'm on the
you were
blood
smart.
thinner. So, right.
Walk her. You guys were like holding arms or something.
Well, I was just like holding her hand or arm to make sure I didn't fall.
I remember there was one time we were at a gas station. I was a little baby. She shuts the door. Little baby starts crying. Little did she know, little baby, his finger was in the door.
Oh,
Think we're right there.
no.
If you ever jam your fingers, just know it's going to be okay. You can always do the polar plunge. Put some ice on it, Is there any last words before I want to give a chance to Uncle Eric, Aunt Tiny, Uncle Don. Do you guys have any question that you want to ask real quick? I'll let you get mic'd up. You can see the massive, beautiful sign, TUEBOR right here. I photoshopped the sign down here. So, how does it look?
Looks amazing. Oh my
It
God.
looks so good. It's a beautiful pool table, so I'm thinking should take the cover off. But thank you all for watching. Thank you, Aunt Karen, for being here. I am still covered over my sickness, so I would give you a hug or a high five.
Kevin, for
Of
like
course.
having an interest in this and being here and adding so much enthusiasm to the weekend. And it really was amazing. I mean, this live is just like fabulous.
The nicest place
Yeah, it's just
in
fabulous.
the world.
And we're, in up north Michigan and just surrounded by natural beauty. And it was just a perfect place for us to all reconnect. And we've been through a lot, this whole family.
Sure. Maas, McKee, Barkhouse, any other Swisher, Maas, McKee, Barhouse. Every family, the whole group, the whole clan came here. Really dramatic
So that was amazing. And
photo.
2025, here we go.
Some people were as patient. We took the group photo right here. And I had my tripod and I was like moving little things around and some people were Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you, Aunt Karen, for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, for listening to the #1 show in the world. So thank you. And Happy New Year 2025.
2020.
Any last inspirational words for the viewers in 2020?
No, I'm just going to say, go for it. Live your life. Live.
God bless. Go Blue.
Go Lions.
Go Lions. I'm not going to say Roll Tide because, we're hoping. You think Michigan can beat Alabama?
Yes, I do.
On that note,
Yes. All right.